On Thursday's How to Get Away with Murder, Annalise tried to help Isaac while working on her class action lawsuit. Here are the most important things to know about Ask Him About Stella, the 12th episode of Season 4. The show began with Isaac having a panic over the allegations he molested and murdered his daughter, Stella. He bought drugs and broke his sobriety. He was in a drug-induced stupor when Annalise banged on the window, as seen in last week's episode. He then flashed back to finding his daughter dead in the bathroom. The next day, Annalise told Isaac she had Bonnie helping her fix the situation. He admitted getting high on opioids, throwing away 23 years of sobriety. "I'm not going down that hole again," he promised. They bonded over their respective addictions, with Isaac detailing how he met Jacqueline while he was hooked on heroin. She got him clean and he pursued psychiatry. Then they had Stella. Frank told Bonnie he wasn't going to tell Laurel about Wes meeting with her mom until he figured out what was going on. Not knowing what he was up to but assuming he was trying to hack Dominic's phone, Laurel told him to stop and he promised he would. Bonnie told the aide working Isaac's case that she could help him figure out how to charge him. She later stalled, claiming she couldn't figure out an angle. Connor, Asher, Oliver, Michaela and even Laurel joined forces to work on the class action lawsuit. Connor and Michaela clashed on whether to use a sob story for the opening statement. Meeting with Annalise and Nate, his father admitted to stealing early on to provide for his family. As a convicted felon, he then couldn't get a job and ended up back in jail over and over for probation violations. In the fatal prison fight that led to his murder conviction, he insisted the other inmate threw the first punch. It occurred after 12 months spent in solitary confinement. The Keating Four worked all of this into an opening statement, but Annalise decided to wing it. At the hearing, Annalise learned the case was being pulled from trial court in favor of written briefs to the state Supreme Court. She tried to fight it, arguing that her client was again being denied his day in court, but the judge went along with the state's wishes. Nate broke the news to his dad, insisting it wasn't bad, and promised to have his father's back. He wasn't buying it. Meanwhile, the Keating Four continued to pore over the case and clashed on how to proceed. Annalise later comforted Isaac on the anniversary of Stella's opening up about grieving for her son. Bonnie later told her that there was reason to believe Isaac performed CPR on Stella and that's why there was a delay in calling 911. But looking at the records, Annalise realized Stella took the same drugs Isaac told her about taking himself. Confronting him, she asked, "Did you give Stella those drugs?" A flashback to 3 years later showed Isaac arriving home, his drugs on the floor. He admitted to lying about his 23-year sobriety, and claimed he discovered Stella had taken nearly all his pills. He frantically performed CPR unsuccessfully and flushed the remaining pills so Jacqueline wouldn't find out he was the indirect cause. He then faked a goodbye text message from her phone and staged the scene to look like an intentional suicide, not an accidental overdose. Bonnie urged Annalise to walk away over Isaac's lies, but she refused. And urged Bonnie to get the investigation closed. "I'm on it," she promised. Laurel scored a visitation session with the baby, before which Frank told her he knew he was responsible for the premature birth. He insisted on going to the meeting with her, and when they arrived, Laurel's mom was dismayed to see Frank there. She claimed she convinced her dad to let her meet the baby without him. Frank, of course, knew from phone records that Laurel's mom and father were in secret communication. Laurel was tearfully reunited with her baby, whom she named Christopher in honor of Wes, Christoph. Her mom approved, and Laurel was still in the dark about her connection to Wes. The Ada initially agreed with Bonnie's report that there wasn't enough to charge to Isaac, but said he'd be an idiot to trust her. He deduced she was still working with Annalise, and said that, regardless, nothing explained why a girl with no drug history suddenly obtained pills and used. So he convinced Denver that they should charge Isaac with by delivery and possibly murder too. Bonnie panicked, then an idea struck. She played Denver the recording she had of him talking about her destroying the evidence connecting him to illegal activities with Laurel's dad. She demanded he drop the Isaac case or lose your election from jail. And if he chose to have her head, she insisted all the material would be leaked to the press. Annalise told Nate they lost after she met with the justices, after which Bonnie told her what happened with Isaac's case. She then assured Isaac the investigation would be dropped. As they clasped hands in celebration, tension almost gave way to a kiss, but Annalise pushed him away. "You're high," she realized, ripping him as a liar full of excuses. When she said they were no good for each other, he angrily lashed out and then laughed. You really think I'd be in this position if it wasn't for you, he asked, saying they blurred the lines because he couldn't tell her no. She insisted everyone has told her no and she came to him for help. He called her a narcissist, and ranted that he was now sucked into your life. He said he was at his lowest point since Stella's and she was to blame. She frantically called Jacqueline and left a message saying Isaac had relapsed. Ask him about Stella, she urged. In the final minutes, Nate told his father they lost the case and his dad branded him a liar. Nate vowed to keep visiting him, no matter how much his dad tried to push him away. Michaela told the group she wasn't giving up on the case, and Connor decided he should go back to law school and marry Oliver. Bonnie, arming herself with a gun, asked Frank via phone to move back in. He then confronted Laurel's mom, asking, "How do you know Christoph?" At the very end, Michaela told Annalise they should appeal to the Supreme Court and that they needed a fixer to help them. That led Annalise to a guest lecture from Olivia Pope titled How to Survive a Scandal. The highly anticipated crossover event will take place on March 1st.